we're talking now to Gary Mosevich from the new Kwinana Motorplex, and in front of us, Gary, we've got a model of the new complex. Maybe you could talk us through it a little bit from where people come in to the type of surface we're running on and so on.
Yeah, sure, Steve. Well, the location is between Enkertel Road and Thomas Road on Rockingham Road in Kwinana, and the main entrance will be off Enkertel Road, and you come in via a roadway into a car park, and this is the car park area here. There is a main entrance for the spectators and a different entrance for the competitors. The concept behind the facility was to have back-to-back drag racing and speedway, to utilise as many of the facilities such as the pits and toilets and things like that, to utilise all those things to get the efficiencies of having both venues on one side.
And compared to the old Ravenswood complex, we've now got a much longer braking area on the drag strip as well?
Yes, the braking area, well, the drag strip's quite a trick in itself actually. We started out and we looked at all the drag strips around the world and said, let's take the good bits out of all of them and see what we can put into this new facility. So we've made it so from the start line we go downhill 3 metres over the quarter mile. That actually we're allowed up to 1% by the ANDRA rules, and we've got that, well, just under that at 3 metres, and then we gradually spoon at the finish line, so we go slightly uphill in the first part of the braking area, because that's when the drag racing cars are really unstable and they move around a lot. And in fact, there are a lot of crashes in that area of most racetracks, so we've gone slightly uphill, and then for the second half of the braking area we then go slightly downhill so that cars can actually roll off the track rather than the driver having to stop their car rolling backwards.
That most of the viewing areas now are a lot higher, is it?
All the spectator areas have been raised by 1.5 metres before you start, so the vision is actually better than that at Ravenswood.
So unlike the old complex too, you've got various levels of seating pricing wise. You can start off at like be at the end of the strip, the middle of the strip, the start line, so on.
Well, one of the key issues both with the drag strip and with the speedway was that for working families that have limited budgets, we've built the philosophy that we have to be able to have a section where they can afford to come, because motor racing in general is very expensive, the operation of facilities is very expensive, and with GST that's going to even add more of a load on there. So we've developed areas where family groups can go in a very budget accommodation, still have a great view of the racing, both in speedway and drag racing, but it will be affordable. In fact, it will be cheaper than what Claremont and Ravenswood were in real terms.
As far as spectators are concerned too, one of the biggest changes now is the way you come back after the run. You come in front of the spectators.
One of the features of the drag strip was to do that. It's all about having fun, and it's fun for the spectators, fun for the competitors, and we are bringing the return road back past the fans so they can cheer their heroes, and also for the competitors it's great to get that feedback and that appreciation, because they do spend an awful lot of money on their gear.
So the winners come up one road and the losers go back another?
No, they all come up one road. And with the speedway it's very interesting too. We've put in some great design features that again have been collected from tracks around the world, where this is actually a fairly wide track at about 22 metres, but it's also very banked in the corners. It's over 2 metres banking in the corners, closer to 2.5 at the peak. And even the straightaways, they have transitions from the straightaway into the bends. And the particular fence has been probably one of the most professionally designed debris and catch fences anywhere. And we've kept the spectators off the ends so that if there is a major incident, the spectators are actually in the straightaways and are protected.
And on the speedway track itself, it's virtually a track within a track. You have a separate motorcycle track and one?
Yeah, well, the requirements of speedway have changed very much over the years. Con Myborough spent an awful lot of time looking at track surfaces over the years, and they gradually changed Claremont's into a clay surface because that's what hooked up for all the big cars like the sprint cars and things like that. But the bikes, it was for the bikes to hook up on that sort of clay surface made it extremely dangerous for them to ride. So by having the different material on the bike track on the inside, the bike guys have got a sliding track, whereas the car tracks require a gumbo clay type track. And that's made all the difference now, because rather than building a compromised track every Friday night where when they've got bikes, they've got to shuffle it around and make it a little slidey, they've been able now to focus on having a really great car track and a great bike track separate.
With the pit area, it's a shared style pit area. Does that mean now that Speedway people have a little bit better access to the pit area than they did before, or any access?
Well, both Ravenswood and Claremont had fairly restricted pit areas. Obviously, Claremont was really restricted. It was basically between all the horse stalls, effectively. And this has got some 4 hectares of pit area. So we've designed all the pit bays so they can cater for 18-wheel semi-trailers. They've got power and water and all that sort of stuff.
Are you happy with the progress that everything's happening down there now with the earthworks?
I'm absolutely rapt about the progress they're making. The Intact Clough, who are the main contractors, and their subcontractors, Goldfield Contracting, are doing an outstanding job. They're moving so much earth so quickly. They've got some 13 scrapers on site, some 4 D11s, then they've got compactors, graders, dump trucks, excavators. So it's a really busy place, and they're moving more dirt than they thought they would per day, and they're actually picking up a bit of time for us, which is very important given a tight time schedule.
Because already, as we'll show later on the filming, you can actually see the layout now. You can see where the pit areas can be, you can see where the mounds are going. It's starting to really take shape.
Yeah, I've always been able to see it as soon as they started moving anything, because I've lived with it for many years. But now anyone that is a contractor on the site that comes on the site, they can now too see exactly where things seem to be going.
Okay, well, thanks for your time again today, Gary, and hopefully we'll be able to get down there probably in a few months' time with a bit more progress.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.